Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here tonight for F1 22. It is Season 9, it's Division 1, it's round 14 as we take in the Dutch Grand Prix, of course, from the circuit of Zandvoort. My name is James Head and I'm going to be taking to the stream as your solo commentator for tonight. Mark Aldridge is going to be in the commentary box for Division 3 alongside Jess. If you want to hop on over to there, I'm sure that live stream is going to be going very much live indeed. And currently, it only looks like we've got two people. It looks like it's going to be the ultimate match race between Verstappen and Killer, I think, at this stage, currently within the lobby, which I'm sure you will pay good money for if that is the case. Hopefully we have more of an attendance though, and hopefully we're going to have a better attendance than just two people here. But hopefully it is going to be an interesting night, and it was interesting, of course, in Austria, where, of course, Selly has now ended his championship campaign. He still leads the championship, though, on 180 points. Campbell fell by the wayside in Austria. He only picked up 3 points in the end, finishing in 10th position in that race after stewards reports, I believe. I'll run through the stewards reports in a second. Although was here, so there's going to be a triple threat, it now seems, for the race here in the Netherlands. But to remind everyone what happened, of course, Slippery Cucumber took the win. He's now part of the NSX team, I'm led to believe. He took the win, of course, last week in really good fashion, I've got to say. Jensen returning to form in second last week as well. He, of course, been participating in F1 Esports Challenges, so I don't think we're seeing him tonight. And then in third was the man currently sitting in fourth position and is literally just joined the lobby there, QVR Alp, who finished third last week in Austria. What did that do to the championship standings? Well, Sully leads the way, as I've already mentioned, on 180 points. Campbell there in second on 160. Cucumber there in third on 138, with Alp in fourth on 119. They seem to be the only ones mathematically in contention for the title. Now, Rocco, Yilbream and Wouter, I think, are still in mathematical championship contention. Haven't done the permutations coming into tonight, so I apologise, but Selly leading the way. Campbell basically just needs to outscore Selly every single race, but with Cucumber hot on his heels and only 22 points separating them both coming into tonight, Cucumber has got everything to play for. He is probably the man to watch out for, I think, if he is racing here tonight, along with Campbell, who I believe is racing here tonight as well. Looking down the field as well, further down, Rocco there in 5th on 99, Yilbream 6th on 95, Wouter 7th on 93, Gary and 8th on 75, along with Nathan in 9th on 75, and Jensen there in 10th on 62 points, with Pease, Verstappen, Rick, Jeroen and Jake all top 15, Killer, Packer, Matthias, Slash and Darry top 20, and then it's Goals, Falcon, Jeroen and Gladbach, who are the 23 drivers that have so far scored points this season. Looking through as well, I'll get them up on my end, the team standings. Mercedes, for the first time I believe in quite a while, are leading the championship now over Ferrari. Ferrari only picking up the 4 points, of course, last week from their 10th and 12th position finishers. So Mercedes, with 18 points to their name, they now take the lead on by 7 points, 242 points over Ferrari on 235. Haas there in third on 151. Williams in fourth on 144. AlphaTauri in fifth on 140. Red Bull sixth on 113. McLaren in seventh on 112. Then Aston Martin eighth on 111. Very close between those three teams. That'll be one to watch out for, I think, going forward. Alfa Romeo in ninth on 96. And then Alpine in 10th on 92. And it's so glad to see 9 people actually going to be racing, at least 9. I hope there's going to be more in attendance. I know there were quite low numbers, I think, coming into tonight. It is coming toward the end of the game cycle. Apparently, according to a rumour that I saw on Twitter and was shared in the League of Europe Discord, that the game date is going to be released somewhere between the June 13th and June 20th, I believe, and that is pretty much accurate to what I've heard as well, and what I've been speaking to behind the scenes in terms of a potential release date, working everything literally off that privilege of that release date. So if that is right, and I can tell you it probably is right, it is going to be somewhere around the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, and the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, I think, is going to be pretty good to launch the game at. It's not like a Qatar, it's not like a Las Vegas. They're not going to be launching the game later on the year at one of the new tracks. They're going to be launching at a one in Canada, and yeah, it is going to be very much interesting, I've got to say, in terms of release date. According to Twitter, anyways, it is going to be, there's something going to be coming out, I believe, this week in terms of an F1 release trailer. I've heard potentially it's going to be on Tuesday or Wednesday, I've heard, so it'll be very much interesting to hear about that, and obviously see what you guys think of the potential new game release, of course, around the middle of June. Montana saying in the chat, you better be right about the release date, James. Move my holidays because of it. I'm on good authority that I believe I am right. I am on very much good authority. I will tell you who to blame privately in terms of the information that I've received, and I've got to say it is very good authority because it actually came directly, some of the information at least came from Dan Hawkins, so if that's anything to go by, then I'm keeping stum until we get at the back end, at least, of the Netherlands, and hopefully we have a release date for the new game, which, as I say, I believe is going to be coming out around the middle of June, around the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. And yeah, the tweet that June shared out, I think, on Twitter and within the League of Europe Discord, that's pretty much accurate, I think, as to what I've heard and what I'm working up the premise of as well. But we are coming into tonight's racing here in Zandvoort. 13 drivers going to be doing battle, it seems, out on track tonight. Of course, around a circuit, which I'm going to bring up... That's the wrong thing. I'm going to bring up around about... wherever I find it. There. Now. There is Zandvoort, of course. 14 turns. 1 minute 11 record around here for laps. Track difficulty is medium. I think I can certainly say it is a lot harder than a medium track difficulty. 4.2 kilometers length, 2.6 miles. And, of course, 14 turns away. Now drivers out on track. Only the one DRS zone as well. The one DRS zone being down the start finish straight in towards Tarzan at turn number 1. Sky Flak, of course. We've got the Marlborough, the right-hander through turn number 8. We've also got the funnily named Zandvoort corner at turn number 10. Then the Audi S-Curve at turn number 12. And then Arie Lundijk there at turn number 14. Montana saying D1 on 13 drivers nowadays. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's... because it's coming to the end of the game cycle, and even WOR, I think last night had about 10 reserves in their console tier, and I saw that because I was watching that last night, and the game cycle, because it's coming to the end of the game cycle, and because people just want rid of this game, let's be honest, I think we all want rid of this game. Even from a commentary perspective, it's getting a little bit tedious, I think, from my perspective. Luckily, I've got a couple of nights off, though, to prepare for the week following, so that is actually quite good, moving forward from my perspective, because everything is now beginning to end, and that's good for me as a commentator. But yeah, the game cycle these days is just dying, and I think earlier it's been dying probably from, I would say, start of the year, about January, February, around about that point, the end of January, early February. I think the game has just been dying from then on, and it's a real shame. It is a real shame, and obviously any new people that want to get involved in the game, if you might be watching this and you might be just landing on the stream by chance by the YouTube algorithm, it will be the new game where I think it's going to try and rejuvenate, hopefully, some of the impetus, I think, within the league racing community. Because, as I'll say, I've been doing PSGL, WOR, the big leagues throughout this game cycle, and even there, it is beginning to drop in terms of attendances. PSGL, I think, has only got 14, I believe, this week. So, yeah, it's not that great. And I'm sure Jess and I'm sure everyone else can speak on that as well from the PSGL side of things, because it is disappointing. It is very much disappointing, but hopefully we can move forward. We can move as one, as we race as one. Of course, coming into Zandvoort here tonight. Bunty saying in there, NSX Cucumber, yeah, he has joined NSX, I'm led to believe. Well, you can see it there. And also, I have just seen Mr. Relentless Nathan, Mr. QVR Nathan, as he was now known, is now G Russell 63. I wonder if his account has been banned, or if he's just had a name change, or if he's just left QVR entirely. Very much interesting there. But we are going to get in towards Zandvoort. First thing is, what's the weather going to be doing in qualifying? It is going to be overcast, but it's going to be dry, it seems, from the early part of qualifying. Pretty much like Donington a little bit earlier on for the British Touring Car Championship. Now, of course, it's been a dry track. I've done many commentaries on this track, on this game, and I've got to say, every single race that I've seen around here, we normally have a better second half than the first half. Normally the first 3 laps are kicks off. Nobody should run away, I think, within the first 3 laps. You could have an Alp, You could have a potential Nathan up there as well here tonight. You could have Cucumber up there, obviously. Killer's going to be one of the first guys out on track. He has been stood up for a date, I believe, to be here tonight in Zandvoort, which is disappointing, I think, from the QVO man's perspective. Whoever that woman was, if you're watching, you're an absolute fool. You are an absolute fool. But he has been stood up on his date, so he's here tonight in Zandvoort. He's going to be on commentary a little bit later on as well, and he's going to be one of the first out on track, along with J. Cole there, the relentless man, coming in towards Tarzan there at Skyflag there at turn number 7. Just don't at me in the comment section at all if I get some of these pronunciations wrong. It's how I have heard Jack Nichols present them on BBC Radio 5 Live last season, so I'm trying to go off the corner names around this track. That's coming through the Circuit Zandvoort sponsor corner at turn number 10, then into the ADS curve at turns 11 and 12. J. Cole, probably a favourite, I think, for the mid-pack more than anything else. He looks to be up there. For my top 3, by the way, I'm going to go out for pole, I'm going to go Cucumber second, I'm going to go G. Russell there in third, Nathan there in third, in 11th position. They're all a full grid lineup, by the way, for Ferrari. No Mercedes here tonight. So Ferrari, whatever, as long as it's on the top 12, are going to be there. There's a McLaren off, and I believe that might be Slash, if I'm not mistaken. That is up through turn number 8. We'll see who that might be in just a second. Jake will go on the run towards turn number 2. And then towards the banking now at turn number 3. Very tight, of course, on the, in real life, you can take the outside banking. On this game, you can actually go right onto the inside curb and then get the phenomenal run off with the traction. That will be changed, I believe, in the new game coming forward. 24.8 in the first sector from J. Cole. Now coming through the right-hander of turn number 7. Through the right-hander now, turn number 8 in Marlborough. And then towards the left-hand, the right-hander now, turn number 9. More right-hander tracks, right-hander corners around this track than left-handed, I believe. It is something like 9 to the right and 5 to the left, I think, as we now come through the left under turn number 10. Yildirim was retired in the session. I believe he had a qualifying ban from last week. J. Cole now into the middle sector through the ADS curve, 49.4 in the middle sector. Not looking too bad at all from the Alfa Romeo's perspective. They're coming in some of the right-hander of Arie Luyendyk in, or Arie Luyendyk box, and Arie Luyendyk runt, I think it is, as we can now come through turn number 14. Out of Arie Luyendyk at turn number 14, on the run toward the line with J. Cole. He's currently in position 14. He'll be on top, though, with the 111. We are going to see much quicker lap times, I think, as the session will progress. Killer looks like he's backed off in the middle sector, 49.2 in that middle sector, as Gary now goes quickest with the 110.6. Out there in second, 110.8 on the set of mediums, better there by Verstappen, and that's more like it from Campbell, 110.3 from the Ferrari man, currently there out on top. Nathan now on the run towards the line. I'm not sure if he's had a mistake, but he hasn't, and he goes second. Good lap time from him. He has got good form around this track, of course, in League of Europe in the past, a 110.5 there, and the Ferraris are currently 1-2, so that is perfect, I think, from their perspective. Slash, as I mentioned, wasn't the one that actually made a mistake. It was Rocco. Rocco is actually on a lap on a set of hard compounded tyres. I will get the tyre that everyone is on currently out on track. Pease is the same as well, going for a set of hard compounded tyre, and oh my god, Rocco's nearly spun through Arie Luyendyk at turn number 13. Goodness me, he's counting his chickens, he's counting his lucky stars right there. Rocco there in 8th position, 114.3. Not a bad lap time, not a bad lap time there at all from Rocco. As apologies if I just went a little bit quiet there. I had to move my because I had an itchy ear, which is unfortunate. Campbell though out on top, Russell there in second, Gary there in third. We'll watch on Cucumber's lap at this stage as well. Montana saying in the chat, we'll still think the season with the full calendar would be perfect for LOE, and only doing one season became and then just events. I think when you get to the point of that, I'm guessing as Cucumber's 49.1 in the middle sector and going quicker. I guess with that, there's two flaws, I think. One, you're still going to have time at the end of the game cycle to do events, which I think is good. But B, it's going to be an early release date. It's going to be a much early release date than what people are thinking around the middle of June. If that's the case, the league's going to be up by the middle of July, I would think, as Cucumber goes third with the 110.5. Not a bad lap time there at all from the NSX man. Up there down in 7th position, he's on that sort of medium compounded tyres, remember, as well. But yeah, I know from, as I can speak candidly from TML, because I'm the league director over there, I know I'm currently planning for 3 seasons, but I'm doing a Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C sort of thing. Plan C is the full calendar, basically run in order, trying to avoid any particular flaws in terms of when real life Formula 1 might be on. As Wouter comes to the line and goes fourth with a 110.596. That's Plan C. Plan A is doing 3 seasons with 12 races each in them and having a break week in between them both. And then plan B is 15, 12 and 12 is how I've currently laid it out. But that's just speaking from a TML perspective. Might be giving some of the organisers a few ideas. I think if they are now hearing this on the stream. But Campbell Adams up from Nathan there in second, Cucumber there in third. Rocco there down in 11th on that sort of hardcore Panatage. I'm guessing Peas and Rocco have not had much practice. I think that's what I'm led to believe, certainly. Them being the sort of hardcore Panatage. Killer's run out of fuel as well, coming through Ari Lundike. Bunty saying in the chat as well, Campbell only scoring 3 points last 3 rounds. If he wants to win the championship, he's got to have a big turnaround. But he's currently out on top in the session. 110.3 is not a bad lap around here, but I was more expecting the guys to be running toward the 109.9s, I think. As Alp, I think, has spun on an out lap, just actually ahead of where Campbell is. So that is unfortunate from the AlphaTauri, man. I saw that on the mini-map more than anything else. But that is him. With no front wing damage, I'm glad to report, but the QVO man had a moment coming out of turn number 8. If you get caught in the outside curb, you basically Tony Hawk ride it on the with the suspension right underneath the middle of the corner, and you get stuck to that, and it just sends you off. And that's what I think Alp has done there, and obviously gone for half spin as well, just to boot. But Campbell is just about to start up on a lap. We'll go on board with that, actually, because he's going to be one of the first to go, I think, go on to a second run. Currently there in 8th, he's on that sort of soft compound tyres, so we should see him. I normally think of an improvement around here to be around 6 or 7 tenths per second, so if Alp can do that, he's going to be around a 110.1, maybe even a 110 flat, I think. That's what he'll be aiming for, I think, here. To the right-hand return number 2. Left-hand return number 3. He's the one that actually goes deep into the banking and then actually gets the traction on the exit. Now through left-hander of... Oh, running up the hill now, through Rob Schlottermacher box, and then in towards Skyflak at turn number 7. Again, my words there, 2.5 tenths per second up from Alp through the first sector. Much better through turn number 8. Then through the right-hand at turn number 9. Then into the Circuit Zandvoort sponsor corner at turn number 10. This is not looking too bad at all from Alp, I've got to say, from his perspective. He's around 48.5, 48.6 in the middle sector. Then he's cooking on gas here. 48.8, respectable. 5 tenths up in his lap time. Big improvements come, I think, in this final sector. So Alp is really on one here. The Turk-American into the left-hander, or the right-hander, I should say, turn number 13. Then through Ari Lundike at turn number 14. There were yellow flags ahead of him. That's a McLaren, I think, with Rocco coming in the pit lane. He's up now on the run to the line. Choco quick with this lap. Could be in the 109s. 110.1, exactly where I expected him to go. He has. Campbell is not responding. He's invalidated, I believe, or he's certainly backed off on this lap. So Campbell not happy with his run through the first sector, backed off, I think, in the middle sector. There's him back in the pit lane, as you can tell. Nathan is on a lap as well, but he's actually backed off. And there's a McLaren round. That is Slash coming through the left-hand of turn 12. So he's ran there at the end of turn number 12. Up there out on top. Campbell second, Russell there in third. Jake Hall, I believe, has just gone into 5th position. Not a bad lap there at all from him. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody actually improving on their runs. I think Jeroen might be on a run, but he's backed off as well. The Aston Martin going slow in the middle sector. So I think really there's only, what, Verstappen maybe that's on a lap, but I don't think he's on one. Yeah, 1.3 seconds down. Disappointing from Verstappen's perspective currently. But they're in 6th position at 110.5, and he's only 5 tenths of a second, give or take it, off Alp. It's not a bad qualifying session at all from him. He's got J. Cole in front of him, he's got Wagner behind him. I'd be happy, I think, from his perspective at this stage. Looking through as well, oh, it's just Verstappen messaging Mr. Evil Dragon there in the chat, I'm just seeing that. But Killer is just about to go on to a lap, I believe. Jeroen is starting up on one. I'm confused. I'm not sure if he's going on a lap or if he's actually starting on one now. We're on board with him. Killer's, I think, further on. Killer's behind him, so I'm going board with Jeroen for now and see what he's going through the first couple of corners, through turn 2 and 3. Then up towards Rob Schlottermacher at turn number 5, which is this little roller coaster section coming towards Skyflak at turn number 7. That's Rob Schlottermacher box in towards the first sector, and Jeroen is on a lap, so 24.7 in the first sector. Very respectful. We're on board, obviously, with I forgot who we were on board with on their first run. It was somebody, anyways. The name will come to me, I'm absolutely sure. I think it was Killer. But he's looking to try and go ahead of Killer. Killer with a 116.8, not respectable whatsoever at this stage. Jeroen in the middle sector, 49.4. So he's about 6 tenths off Alp in terms of this lap. Put that in theory, he's going to be around a 110.8, 110.9. Sort of that region, I think, if he doesn't invalidate through the final 2 corners, which he doesn't through 13. Doesn't there on the right under turn number 14. Just got a tenth of a second coming off the curb there on the run toward the line with your own. Should go, I think, to around a 110.8. In fact, it's a 111 flat, and he only goes ahead of Pease. I was going to say by a couple of hundredths of a second, but he's not exactly a full second clear there of Pease. Rocco just starting up on the run. Killer's on the run to the line as well. He goes 6th, 110.558. Not bad lap time there at all from him. But out there, Adam Top, Campbell there in second, George Russell there in third. Not the George Russell, if anybody is tuning in to the comment section and seeing George Russell here in the chat. A, he's not here, and B, this is KVR Nathan that we're now on board with on the run towards turn number 1. Through Tarzan at turn number 1. Paddock there on the right hand side. Through turn 3 into the banking now of turn number 4. Campbell there, kicks the inside curb there. He's going to lose time all the way up now and towards Tarzan. Not a good first sector at all from Nathan. Went too deep on the brakes, caught the curb, he's lost himself time. Through the first sector, yeah, 200s down. Thought he lost himself time. Through Skycracker turn 7 into Marlborough now at turn number 8. Of course, famously named after the sponsorship of the Ferrari team back in the day. Looking on board with the Ferrari now coming through the left-hander of turn number 10 in towards Circuit Danville corner. Beautifully done, actually. Much better middle sector, I think, this from Nathan. On the run towards the middle sector split. 48.9, 10th and a half up. That looked very, very neat, I've got to say, through the middle sector. Now through the left-hander of turn number 12. We'll ride off board with him now, and then go on board with them coming to the final 2 corners once again. Nathan misses the curb though, gets a good run out actually. It's going to save him time on the run toward the line. As long as he takes a very deep line on the run to the line, which he isn't. Nathan now on the run to the line, should go second. And he does, just ahead of Campbell. Campbell is just on, I think, on a run. He's actually just came off a run, I think, with the 110.329. Out there currently, 700s up through the first sector. He's purple out of everyone in that first sector split. As well, currently out on top, Russell second, Campbell there in third. Cucumber hasn't been seen much out on track so far in this qualifying section. There in fourth, 110.5. He'll improve on that. I think he might be launching the better conditions. Again, Alp is a 10th and a half up in the middle sector. Now coming to the left-hander of turn number 12. Right to going fourth there as well, now ahead of Cucumber. If I was Cucumber, I'd get ahead of out on track, go out of sync towards everyone else, settle that in, and then come back in the pit lane, then be in sync with everyone else for our final runs. But up now, on the run to the line, should go quicker. Oh, and he does. It's a 109.9. Big laps on there from Alp. Only a 10th and a half improvement, but a 10th and a half improvement breaks you into the 109.9s, and that's exactly what I was thinking in terms of pole position tonight. A 109.9 from Alp, currently out on top. Nathan there in second, who I've said earlier on in the session has got very good form around this track. Campbell there in third, White there in fourth. All I need now, Cucumber, top 3, and then I'll be absolutely cooking in terms of my top 3 prediction, I think, for tonight here in League of Europe Division 1. Gary just finishing up on a lap as well, the Irishman. We're now through the right-hander of turn number 14, he's back in the pits. Back in the pits from the KVR man. I think he was down on the middle sector, or coming just out on the middle sector anyway, so that's why he's back off into pit lane. And that is him back in the pits. So Slash is done an out lap, just trying to see if there's anybody else on a lap. J. Cole's just came off one, I think went fourth with 110.429. Not a bad lap there at all from him. Cucumber clearly not listening to what I would do in this qualifying session. Montana obviously knows better than me. But Bunty, yeah, saying J. Cole's on fire. Yeah, J. Cole is one of the underdogs, I think, in the session so far. 4th position. Wouter there in 5th has been overlooked, I think, as a bit of an underdog in the last few races. He's certainly one to watch out for, I think, in this race. Out of Killer, Verstappen as well, doing solid jobs further down the field. This man here, Slash, formerly TTG, I mean, look at how close it is between 2nd and 10th. 3/10 of a second, covering 2nd to 10th. Slash gets a good lap in here. He can jump the whole lot. As soon as I say that, though, he's absolutely butchered the RES curve. Clearly not looking at the screen now, I think, in towards the RES curve at turn number 12. Now through 13 and 14, but yeah, he is doing a fantastic job. Brendan there is supporting the Irishman of Gary, which is very good to see. He's down in 9th position currently with the 110.6. But Slash, if he gets a good run in here, he's normally quite inconsistent in qualifying. If he gets a good run in here, though, and a good lap on the board, he could jump himself potentially to 2nd, 3rd or 4th. That is how close it is, but looking dodgy, I've got to say, coming out of turn number 2. Don't often say that in commentary. Slash not looking like he's on a good run at this stage. Coming up the hill through Robert Schlocker Box. Through the first sector, 700's up. Looks all deceiving. I thought that would have been slower in the first sector. But Slash not looking too bad at all. That was neat, actually, coming through 7. Now through turn 8. Just a little bit caught on the curb there. Might have cost him time. In towards the turn 9. He's gone a little bit deep again. in towards turn number 10. Not looking like a bad lap there at all from Slash. It might just be my vision and my view of this lap, but I think this is all over the place, this lap. Slash in the middle sector, yeah, proven in the middle sector, 49.1, didn't look as strong. Nice coming out of turn number 12, but Slash just is one of those drivers where he doesn't really get on the power. He's had so much potential, I think, going forward, the former TTG man. And he's doing a phenomenal job, don't get me wrong, in League Europe, but he's just too inconsistent. And I speak of that as a way to try and improve him. There, he goes 6th, big final sector. That is how close it is around here at Zandvoort. He jumps up to 6th, 110.5. Just around a tenth of a second what I was expecting him to improve on, so not a bad lap there at all from Slash. Maybe I shouldn't be too critical. Out though out on top, Russell there in 2nd, Campbell there in 3rd. Cucumber's just coming through the middle sector on his out lap, so he'll be one to watch out for certainly a little bit later on in the session. Verstappen is on a run. 300's up coming through the left-hander now of turn number 10. And then towards the ADS curve of turns 11 and 12, a 10th up in the middle sector. Verstappen looking to go ahead of Slash, maybe ahead of even J. Colin White here at this stage in qualifying. Of course, we are nearing the end of qualifying, with only a minute and a half to go. Russell and Campbell currently in the top 3. Nathan there, of course, in 2nd. Verstappen, though, now coming to the final couple of corners. The Dutch fans cheering on the nudist speech as he comes towards the line. Verstappen goes 4th, the 110.425. Not a bad lap there at all from Verstappen. Campbell there is on a run as well, but he's actually backed off. So Campbell's backed up in the first sector. Must have made a mistake coming out the banking, I think. Nathan, though, in the middle sector. Right on board with him. And he's purple. Purple in the middle sector. 2 turns up from Nathan. Big improvement to come potentially in the final sector, but he's purple out of everyone in the middle sector. Maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself, but this looks like a good lap from Nathan. To the right-hander now. It's Avi Lundijk at turns 13 and 14. On the run toward the line with Nathan. He's got to take a tight line on the way to the line as Gavin goes 4th. Russell, in the end, only a 10th off. Good lap there by Nathan. Goes 2nd. Should secure him on the front row of the grid. Alp in the middle sector. 500's up as Jerome goes 4th. Big laps on from him, but we're now on board with Alp. As we now come through the final couple of corners. Oh, and that killer, sorry, who was that round? That was Rocco round coming through turn number 10. Cucumbers towards the end of the middle sector as well. His middle sector, 49 flat. It's not great. Alp though on the run toward the line through Arie Lundijk. In towards the final 2, out of the final 2 corners. 1 on 9.8. Puts it out of reach, I think, for Campbell. Campbell's going to go on another run. Cucumber, though, needs, ideally, 3rd position. Needs to go 110.2 and then put himself out of reach of Campbell. Cucumber now on the run to the line. Will he do that? No, goes 4th in the end. Little bit disappointing, I think, from Cucumber. The NSX man has been around a lot this season, but that's his first qualifying session where you've got to think if buts and maybes for Cucumber. A little bit disappointing. Campbell, sorry, I think is responding in the middle sector, coming down through the middle sector. You're on there in 5th. Big underdog performance from him in qualifying. Campbell though in the middle sector. He's got his teammate ahead of him, giving him a bit of tow. 48.8 in the middle sector's not too bad. Campbell could be on. Could he go even ahead of Nathan here? If Nathan just brings the DRS into affiliation, and I think he's going to. Through the final couple of corners. Campbell now on the run to the line. This is going to get him 2nd, I think. Gets a slipstream on the run to the line. Campbell should go 2nd. Doesn't. 200's off for Campbell there in 3rd. Good lap from Campbell. Not good enough, though, even with slipstream, I've got to say, on that lap. That lap didn't look as good as what Nathan did by himself. But out there out on top. Nathan there in 2nd, Campbell in 3rd. I did get the first 2 out of the first 3 right. Campbell's sporting the party there, I think, for me. But up there out on top, Nathan there in 2nd, Campbell there in 3rd. As we end off the qualifying session here in Zandvoort, as Rocco is stuck on the outside curb at turn number 10. Some sights in racing, that's not one of them. Out on top. Nathan 2nd, Campbell there in 3rd. Will run through the full rest of the grid in just a second. Advertise into the pit lane. AlphaTauri mechanics are looking very enthusiastic that his car has got into 1st position, I think, I'm going to say, out on track. As now, hopefully we'll go to the full grid order. There we go. Just kicking in there. Out on top. By 2 tenths of a second from Nathan there in 2nd. Campbell there in 3rd, with Mercedes missing both their drivers. Jensen, of course, preparing for challenges, and Sully missing the end of the season. that means Ferrari are pretty much a mainstay and now an absolute certainty, you've got to say, for the constructors. Nathan Lowe in second, Campbell there in third, Cucumber there in fourth, Pease there in fifth with Jeroen in sixth, Killer in seventh, Gary in eighth, Verstappen there in ninth, Wouter in 10th, and look at Jeroen to Wouter. 200ths of a second, 24 hundredths of a second to be exact, covering 6 to 10. Jake all in that as well, 3,000s off. Wouter in 11th, Slash there in 12th, Rocco there in 13th, and Yilboom there. Dan in 14th, didn't get a lap time in because I believe he had a qualifying ban, which I'm going to have a look at in just a second and bring up to date with the stewards reports from last week. And yeah, he retired on track, which is why he got the qualifying ban, and Gary got 5 licence points as well for murder. Which I said in the chat shouldn't have been 5 licence points, should have been a lot more harsher, I think, than that. But Matthias got his penalty removed. Wouter and Campbell got 3-second penalty and 2 licence ones. That's why he finished down in 10th position at the end of the race. Yilboom retired on track. He got a qualifying ban for the next race. We picked up on that, I think, on the stream. Not sure who that is, Cyan. I think that was Izat, if I'm not mistaken. Safety car and 3 licence points added to his total. And Nathan as well. A terrorist attack, apparently, to Rick. Rick will have a qualifying ban. Oh, sorry, Rick to Nathan, that is. Rick, you will have a qualifying ban for the next race that you attended. So, we had terrorist attack, we had murders. I don't know what we're going to get next, but regardless, I think it's going to be quite fun. We have got a New Year's beach here in Netherlands, so come up with your wild fantasies with that one. But, anyways, we're going to get going in towards Zandvoort. Just listen to this, honestly, I'll be fine as PSGLF2 commentator. But yeah, it should be a really, really interesting night, I think, in terms of the racing here. Of course, 14 of you watching the chat, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are brand new to League of Europe, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. And just a heads up as well, because it is solo commentary for me tonight, I am not going to be doing interviews once again, which is, I know is going to be, you're going to be absolutely sighing yourself to absolute smithereens. But that is just the case. My voice, I can feel, is already going, even at this early stage. As Alp has decided to go set a medium compound tyres, everyone else on a set of hards. And Alp, I think, has gone for basically, it's one of the shortest runs down and towards turn number 1. If he doesn't get off the start here, he's not going to get off the start anywhere, on any track, on any calendar, on any game cycle. But Alp there, in first, going for that set of mediums. It's inspired, don't get me wrong. I think he's probably on the right side for him. As opposed to the strategy out on track, he's on the wrong strategy completely. Completely the wrong strategy. He goes for a set of medium compounded tyres, set of hards for everyone else. Judging by everyone being on a set of hard compounded tyres, he wants to try and get that run in towards turn number 1. That's the only thing, the only reason I can think he's done that. Unless his engineer is telling him something different about if there's going to be rain in the race, which I don't think there is. I don't think there's going to be rain in the race. But out there, having to try and manage his starts, medium compounded tyres are probably the better tyre thing for race starts, as Rocco and Yilboom have had a collision further down the field. But Alp, he's on that sort of medium compounded tyres. That's to minimise, I think, the traction coming off the second phase of the start. That's why he's opted for the set of mediums. Set of hards don't really get on. If Alp can get in towards turn number 1 ahead as he goes for a spin in towards turn number 13, and Harry Lundijk does not want to be doing that at slow speed, let me tell you that. But Alp, if he leads that in towards turn number 1, he comes out of turn number 1 and through the banking in front, he will have the best opportunity, I think, to really split the pack and split them to around a second, more than a second by the end of lap 1. If and only if he can get a good start. If he doesn't get a good start, he's going to be in trouble from Nathan Campbell and behind, especially later on. Normally, I've seen a driver start on set of mediums before out of here. I think it was in PSGLF2, as Slash is going for the full-on spins at the back of the field. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Don't blame him. That is a beautiful camera angle, I've got to say, even though it's facing away. The 5 red lights are now going to come on here, though, in Zandvoort. The 5 red lights coming out, round 14 of the championship here in League of Europe, and it is lights out, away we go. Alp gets a good start, but not as good as Nathan. Nathan pulls alongside and towards turn 1, is already ahead, and Alp, even in the mediums, not starting well, and Nathan's through and he's into the lead of the race before turn number 1. Alp there in second, Campbell there in third. Everyone, I think, is clean through turn 1 safely. No, they're not, because there's a Williams on the wall. That's Wouter out of the race early on. There might be a VSC or a safety car coming in. It's a VSC. VSC deployed out on track. Unfortunate for Wouter spinning. I think he got caught up, if I'm not mistaken, by Jeroen on the outside, and they were side by side through that first couple of corners. But in the end, Wouter's race has ended even before it's begun. He's out of the race. VSC deployed out on track. Not the first time we've seen a VSC out on track, let me tell you that. Early stages of the race. But Wouter out of the race, got caught, I think, with an Aston Martin. I think it was either Jeroen or Gary in that mid-pack somewhere. He got caught on the side of the Aston Martin, spun round in the wall. Nothing he could do about that, and Wouter out of the race. And literally, if he could recover the car, he would have been facing the wall anyway, so I do not blame him whatsoever. But yeah, Nathan takes the lead out there in second. Campbell there in third. Early position gains at the end of lap 1. Well, not many, because we only had about 3 corners worth of racing. But Nathan has gained position. Same with Pease, Killer, J. Cole, Slash, Rocker, and Gilbring have all gained position. Of course, most positions lost is Wash. I think we're going to get back onto green flag racing very soon indeed. Probably at the end of Tarzan towards turn number 1, I would think. But through the final couple of corners, we will get back underway very soon indeed. There we go, we're back underway, and Jeroen's going to try and get the jump on Killer here and towards turn number 1 at Tarzan. Puts him under pressure, doesn't put him under pressure too much. Tom Tower, by the way, on the left hand side will fix itself. I'm absolutely guaranteed of that, as Alf is all over the back now of Nathan, coming out through the left hand with turn number 4 at the banking. Nathan now leads the way from Campbell, from Alp in second. Campbell there in third. Campbell's going to try and stick with Alp, I think, trying to use up a little bit of that ERS if he can. But Alp looks so quick, he's running so much more downforce compared to Nathan. Coming up the straights there, much more straight line speed set up compared to a downforce setup. Looks like he's running much lower wings, and that's giving him good confidence through the early stages of this race. He's on the back there of Nathan. Nathan will hold the lead though. Still from Alp in second. Alp, I think, has got to be smart with this, because the DRS doesn't come enabled until, of course, there's 2 DRS zones down in towards turn number 12 as well. So he's got to be smart with how he thinks about this move. If I was Alp, I'd probably go for moving towards turn number 1. I really would. Use the ERS coming out of here, get on the back, take it off, and then go for the moving towards turn number 1. He's doing exactly that, and literally, as I say that, he's going through on him. In towards turn number 1. Alp defends the inside line. Nathan not interested. Alp through and he's into the lead of the race. Nathan tries to get the switch back out of turn number 1. But now, the Ferrari game is simple. Stick with Alp. If you don't stick with Alp in the early stages of the race, they're going to come back to bite them a little bit later on, especially if Alp gets an undercut on the rest of the field. Stappen there on the back of Gary, coming up the hill now through Rob Stottermacher-Bocht. And then on towards the left-hander of Rob Stottermacher-Bocht, and then in towards the right-hander now of Tarzan at Skyflak even, at turn number 7. We've seen drivers spin off there before. Rocco nearly followed that on the outside curb there slightly. Slash there on the back of Jake Hall, who goes a little bit deep there. Slash right on the back of him. Trying to capitalise on that slight mistake there from Jake Hall. A little bit hesitant, I've got to say. DRS is now enabled, of course, this lap around. Already Alp is pulling 7.5 tenths on Nathan, but if Nathan can stick with Alp early on, he's got a chance, I think, of trying to perform an overcut rather than an undercut around this track. And overcuts, let me tell you, if you pull it right, are very potent around this track as well. As apologies, you have to hear my voice clearing there. Jekyll on the back of the Stappen, Slash nearly out all over the place there, coming out of Harry Lundike on the run towards turn number 1. The end lap 3 out of 36. Alp leads the way. Nathan and second, Campbell there in third. Peace and fourth with Cucumber there in fifth, and Cucumber becoming the real cork on the bottle, I think, at this stage. NSX Man is handling his EUS very well indeed, but if he sticks with Pease normally comes alive around this track as well. I would say, from Cucumber's perspective, he needs to stick with Pease. He's out of a second. Cucumber is outside of a second already to Pease, and I never thought I'd see this, to be honest, out on track. Cucumber struggling, the NSX Man, not sure if he's turned off a Sentinel, if he's running different settings potentially. I'm sure Montana can bring me up to speed on that one. If he's running any, if he's running ABS off or something. But Cucumber, 1.1 seconds in 5th. He's off the back of Pease, he's lost the ERS range as well. Killer's on the back of him. If I was Cucumber, I'd be worried. I'd honestly be worried, I think, at this stage, because, I mean, this part of the track, you do gain time, but if you lose the time coming out of turn number 12, Cucumber will be on the back foot. He's just, I think, going to be within DRS range. 9 tenths per second. DRS section point was just before that point. And, yeah, he has got DRS this time around. So, but Cucumber doesn't want to afford to do that too often. If he does, he'll be in trouble. He will be in trouble. He's saving ERS as much as possible. That's what was going through our head first and foremost. But then I saw the gap the gap differentiation between peas and cucumber, and I thought, he's not saving much ERS up here. 81% of ERS he's got, Killer's got 51%, so actually he's managing better than what Killer is in behind. Killer looking for the killer blow, potentially on the back of Cucumber, who looks to be sliced, potentially, in terms of the opposition. Slash there on the back of J. Cole, though. A little bit laggy, coming through the right hander there of Skyflack at turn 7. To Marlborough there at turn number 8. Slash then towards right hander now at turn number 9 at Renault. And then in towards turn number 10 at Danville corner. 2 tenths away from him. Ilbrim on the back of Rocco as well, looking quite neat on the back. Last man, in fact, has just had a moment coming out of turn number 10, just off camera angle there. So on the mini-map, he had a spin, or slight moment, half spin, slightly off the curb on the inside. So he'll be there in 13th now on the back foot as a result. But out now pulling away, 1.9 seconds, trying to assert that domination. But medium compound tyres are going to come back to bite him. Once he gets to lap 9, lap 10 area, he will begin to struggle and the gap will begin to close. And if he goes in a little bit earlier compared to everyone else, he'll come out ahead with a big overcut. Or big undercut, I should say. But if Nathan and Campbell can do that in second and third and get a big undercut going, they are going to be on, I think, potentially the race winner, maybe even a 1-2. I think from Ferrari's perspective, they're managing the race. I think at this stage, certainly, a little bit better than what Alp is, but Alp is on that side of mediums, which is why I think giving a little bit more stiff than I should be. Well, leading the way, taking there in second, Campbell there in third, Slash there on the back of Jekyll once again, trying to pull away as well from Rocco. Rocco there in 12th position, of course, a 2-time winner in Liga Europe this season, I believe. One was Austria, I know for a fine fact that was the case. Slash on the back though of Jekyll. Sorry, it was not Austria, it was earlier on in the season. Austria was season 7, I think, for Rocco. But Slash that on the back. Gets a good run coming out of turn number 12. Of course, the Dutchies would be flying the flag, I've got to say, for a few of these guys here out on track tonight. I think it is more League of Dutchland than, or League of Netherlands than League of Europe, I've got to be honest, these days and on a Saturday night. But there we are. I mean, we've got a Turk-American, a Brit, and a Scotsman, and a Brit, round off the top 4, and a Canadian in 5th. So, yeah, who says we can't cater for everyone here in League of Europe? Lap 7 out of 36, out their lead, Russell there in 2nd, Campbell there in 3rd, doing a good job. Slash again on the back of Jekyll, he looks close enough towards turn number 7 at Skyflag. But in the end, he doesn't want to risk it, and to be fair, I wouldn't want to risk it, I think, at this point. Looking through as well, there were lots of freight marker boards taken out in qualifying, looking by what I'm seeing in the Discord there. Verstappen there is on the back of Gary. I'm just going to take a slight rest with my voice. I'll be back in about 30 seconds or so. Oh, my mic is very rusty, but Verstappen on the back of Gary there was looking in towards turn number 1 as you were right on board with that battle, and as I was just trying to rest my voice just that little bit, I think, to try and go through to the end of the race. I could certainly feel it in my voice that it is going. There was a mistake there, I think, from Jekyll, and a mistake as well from Rocco slightly, as Yildirim got within a 10th of a second of him up the hill. Everything really happening though in this battle further down the field. Yildirim right on the back of Rocco now through turn number 8. There will be a point, I think, where impatience will grow thin. Somebody will force a move and then all hell is going to break loose, I think, from that point onwards. But Yildirim that in 13th, doing a good job on the back there of Rocco. Oh, was that Rocco actually makes a mistake on the inside curb? Yildirim through and he's into 12th. Yildirim through and he's into 12th. They'd say all hell was going to break loose, and that was the point. Rocco spins there slightly, coming on the inside curb. Down in 13th, but with Vito already out the race, one DNF ahead will be guaranteed points out on track tonight. Verstappen now looks on the back of Gary. The intertwined battle between the Netherlands and the Ireland continuing on here in towards turn number 1, but Verstappen not close enough. Needs to save up the battery. If he wants to save up the battery, as J. Cole was nearly side by side there with that slashing towards turn number 1 at Tarzan as well. Verstappen, if he wants to save up the battery, he's got a lift and coast going through the corners. Exactly what Gary's doing just ahead there and towards the banking. He needs to try and counteract that and do a little bit of lifting coasting. Because he's got less than 10% of ERS, and less than 10% of ERS around this track, trust me, is not great from Verstappen's perspective. He wants to be the attacker, not the defender, and I think in the retrospect of this battle, I think he's going to become the defender rather than the attacker, because Slash there with 57% of ERS is going to be all over the back of him, and there's literally going to be nothing that Verstappen can do about that if he doesn't manage his ERS. So he needs to manage that ERS better. Slash is managing his tyres very well, I've got to say as well. They're not looking at all wearing this early stage on this sort of hard compounded tyre. Up there as well, 2.1 seconds. Not sure if there was a slight mistake though. The gap was up towards 2.4, I think. I'm not sure unless Nathan's been on the ERS, which I don't think he has been. I think there might have just been a slight mistake there from Alp in there in P1. This time around, Verstappen, is he close enough again on the back of Gary? Not quite close enough, but yeah, Verstappen really needs to save up that ERS, I think. If I was in his shoes, I'd be saving up, trying to back off, save the ERS, and then go for the move, I think, from Gary. Because Gary, to be fair, looks easy pickings down in front. And I'm saying that he is a Constructors' Champion last season. But yeah, I think he's easy pickings. I really do think he is. And the Alpine does look quicker in a straight line. So once Verstappen gets that ERS back, he's going to be absolutely flying, I think. Head on track, a Slash there. In 10th on the back of these guys as well. Apologies if I am sounding a little bit rusty here tonight, and if I do cough, I do apologise. It is always a Saturday commentary that this happens on, never a Sunday. It's always solo commentary this happens on as well, so you can probably see a determination of how the season will go, I think, as the commentaries progress. But of course, we have got 3 races left: Saudi Arabia, Belgium and Brazil, if I'm not mistaken, the final 3 rounds of the championship here in League of Europe. Verstappen is on the back of Gary. Again, running out of average on deck. Looks closer this time around. Might look for Lund, but again, straight line speed just struggles on down the straight with a low ERS. Doesn't want to force the move. Still, be right on board with this battle for P8 and P9. At least they're getting good airtime, I've got to be honest. If the sponsors are looking at this, Red Bull Esports, Alpine, I know you're probably watching there somewhere in the Ethernet. But Gary and Verstappen doing a good job. They're getting plenty of airtime, I think, at this stage. As will Yildirim on the back of J. Cole. This looks interesting now. On the run up Rob Schrotter-Macabot in towards Schreitracker turn number 7. Yildirim now looking all over the back of Yildirim. Yildirim looking all over the back of Yildirim. That works. Yildirim looking all over the back of J. Cole, I should mention. There in 11th and 12th position. Montana saying there was contact between Pease and Campbell at turn number 1. I don't think there was, unless Pease was right on the back of him. I didn't see that on my end, certainly, unless there was a bit of a lag spike, potentially. But on my end, certainly, I didn't see they were within 2-3 tenths per second of each other. I'm going to rewind this back on the screen. Yeah, Pease was 8 tenths off him, unless he went deep in towards turn number 1, which I don't think he has. Unless that was lap 1. Which is the only way I'm thinking. Verstappen now becoming the defender. Slash to the inside line at turn number 1. All of this is now beginning to kick off, and there goes Slash to the inside line at turn number 1. Verstappen tries to hang on all the way around the outside, and in the end, Slash gets caught in the curb and spins. And that silence speaks for it all. Slash spins inside curb, gave Verstappen a lot of room. Verstappen, to be fair, gave him a lot of room. If I was Slash, I would have moved off the curb, just by the left hand side, trying just to force Verstappen a little bit out of room. Slash down in 13th. Again, that little bit of inconsistency that he has in his races is now coming back to haunt him at this stage. Half-spin on the inside of turn number 1. Okay, I didn't see that, but Pease, yeah, he's 8 tenths per second off him now. And certainly if I didn't catch that on my end, so I do apologise if I do miss that, but it's hard to keep up with a lot of things, keep up with you guys in the comment section, keep up with me here and my thoughts and my brain sometimes, and these guys out on track as well. Sometimes it's hard. But out leads, Nathan there in 2nd, Campbell there in 3rd. Verstappen now looking close on the back of Gary. Still there with a lack of ERS. Gary's not on the ERS this time around, and Verstappen just had a better run there. Coming through the final corner, he's on the back of him, in towards turn number 1. Is he going to try and dummy it to the inside line? No, Gary takes the middle of the road, and to be fair, Verstappen pulls this off around the outside, it'll be phenomenal. But in the end, can't get the job done. Verstappen again. Clearly not listening to me, he's got his own stream to worry about, I think, at this stage. Hello to the Verstappen fans that is out there. Yildirim tries to go for the switch rock on J. Cole, coming out the banking. And is on the EOS running up the hill now through in towards Schradlacker turn number 7. He'll be there on the back of J. Cole. We are 1/3 distance, by the way, if you're just tuning into League of Europe. Where on earth have you been the first 12 laps? You haven't really missed much, I've got to be honest. Up the lead from Russell there in second, Campbell there in third. And now beginning to maybe seem that for the first time in the race, I'm not sure if he made a mistake there, but 2.5 seconds. I believe that gap has now started to come down. They don't last long around here, the mediums. That's what drivers are going to be wary of. They can last the halfway stage. If Albon's good on his tyres, it can last the halfway stage. But now is the point. It's the perfect point, I think, for the Ferraris to start working together. They're in second and third and try and just gain something out of this race. Verstappen again on the back of Gary. Not this close enough though in towards turn number 1 this time around. There'll be the one moment where I'm actually all four with these guys and all hell will break loose. I think through turn number 1. I've got to say though, Verstappen is doing a good job. Gary there in 8th, Verstappen there in 9th, J. Cole there, round off the top 10. But yeah, it's a little bit of a bore, this one. We want a safety car or something, or a spin, or an overtake like this. Yildirim on the back of J. Cole, running up the hill now, in towards turn number 6 and 7, getting excited for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And again, Yildirim on the back, cannot find a way through on J. Cole. They're burning each other's time, they're fighting each other, and trying to work each other out, I think, still at this stage. But even at this stage in the race, I begin to pull off a few moves. I begin to try and work my way through the field. If I'm Yildirim in this train, I'd be making moves sooner rather than later. Because he looks so much quicker, I've got to say, in this train than everyone. As Pease, I think, has gone for a slight moment there, coming out of turn number 12. Keep coming through and he's into 4th. Pease there in 5th. I think avoided contact with the wall. Had a huge moment though, and again, coming out of Arie Luyendyk slightly there, getting caught on the grass. Killer's having to run him in towards turn number 1, but he's not quite close enough. And again, Verstappen on the back of Gary. This time using up the EOS through the middle of the corner. He's gaining again, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. I think Yildirim though is on the back of J. Cole. Verstappen that time around trying to look for the move. Still trying to work each other out. There's going to be a point, there is a weakness for these guys out on track. And once they find the weakness, that needs to be exploited. As Yildirim, J. Cole's weakness is coming through here at turn number 4, because Yildirim did such a phenomenal run. Coming out of turn number 4 at the banking. And now running up the roller coaster in towards Skyflat. Yildirim all over the back. He looks absolutely like he's going to go gung-ho for the move. But he just wants to sit and wait him behind. He did pick up a qualifying ban for a time out on track last week. And he might have that bearing in his mind. But if I was in Yildirim's shoes right now, I'd go for the move. I really would go for the move. And that's exactly what he's going to do in towards turn number 10. The Haas on the inside on the Alfa Romeo. Catches the curve there slightly. Bit of a twitch. He's going to be there on the outside line towards 11 and 12. He pulls this one off. This will be remarkable. J. Cole hangs the inside curve. Yildirim now on the inside curve for turn 12. He's got the fresher traction. He's got the move surely here. Yildirim. That is perfect from Yildirim. Brilliant waiting. Great patience in the end. Virtue. Patience is an absolute virtue. Yildirim through and he's into 10. Picked up DRS as well. How do you like them apples? J. Cole's going to try and have a run back at him. Rocco now coming at J. Cole quickly in towards turn number 1. Wrists toward the inside line. Doesn't go for the move. But Yildirim. Perfect move that from Yildirim. Beautiful stuff. Soon he's into 9th. And all of that, Alp into the pit lane. Is back out. Maybe behind Slash. He's side by side with Slash coming out the pit lane. And Slash goes around the outside of him. Oh, well, if I was in Alp shoes, I'd be worried. I really would be worried right now. Slash in 12th. He'll stay out there. Slash will stay out there. And he is catching, actually, the guys ahead of him. So, could work in one or two ways. Alp could be a lot quicker than him and then get past him easily. But he doesn't look like it because the tyres are not going to be warmed up for at least another lap or so. And Slash, there in 12th. If he caps Alp outside of a second, that is going to be the big interesting point, I think, at this stage of the race. But the Ferraris obviously don't want to react to that now, because it would just be absolutely stupid, I think, if they react now in terms of the EOS and then try and defend off Alp. But in the end, Nathan trying to expose that DRS. I think Campbell's trying to use that DRS range as well. That, I think, is going to work more for deaf ears more than anything else, because Ferrari tactics there It's a waste away the ERS. Alp's on 71% of ERS, so he could easily fight back on the guys when they get to him. Slash is going to continue on ahead of him, within that DRS range, luckily. But if I was in Nathan and Campbell's shoes right now, and if I was a teammate and I was instructing orders from the man being there in P1 right now, I'd be saving up the ERS as opposed to wasting it away. You're always going to waste away time on that set of hard compound of tyres, and that's what the Ferraris are doing by exposing themselves with the ERS disadvantage. And remember, they're going to be... The tyres, if they go beyond 20 laps, they've got a chance, mediums, end of the race, 16 laps, quite comfortably, without really wearing the tyres away. But it all depends the gap. The more that Alp begins to pull in on Slash, the more he pulls in on the rest of the field. 18.6 seconds is the gap. That's pretty much dead on territory, I think, for a pit stop. Is any of them going to come in? No. Campbell and Nathan stay out. I wonder if anybody else further down the field is going to come in the pit lane. Not for now. I think everyone's just entitled to just run on that sort of hard compounded tyres for now. Again, Verstappen on the back of Gary. Looking interesting down in towards the left, the right hand now. At turn number 1. Again, through Tarzan. Not going to get the move done as I need to drop my phone. Alp on the back of Slash and towards turn number 1. Oh, Slash lagging all over the place. And that is how you get a move done on a lagging driver. Unless Slash is now going to just jump spike ahead of him and ruin Alp's race. Which I really hope doesn't happen for the sake of Alp. He goes actually deep there and towards turn number 3. But Alp is ahead of Slash. So that is one obstacle negotiated. The next one is the undercut. The undercut is the next obstacle for him to pull off. It looks comfortable for now. Towards the end of the session, though, towards the end of the race, it'll be a different thing. We are halfway through. Nathan, Campbell, Cucumber currently in the top 3. On board with Yildirim on the back of Verstappen. 8th and 9th position for the QVR man and the Relentless man. Michael and Rocco sitting pretty there in 10th and 11th. Of course, these all, including Slash, top 11 and 13th currently. You've got to make a pit stop. Al doesn't. His tyres might go towards the end of the race. Verstappen though on the back as Campbell's in. Campbell into the pit lane. Going to be tight, I think, on pit lane exit. I'm going to watch Verstappen though for now. Jeroen's also, Killer's responding into the pit lane. Gary's defending towards turn 1. Verstappen's not close enough. Yildirim and actually Rocco were in, J. Cole into the pit lane. Verstappen's going right around, all the way around the outside of turn 1 on Gary. Tries to pull that one off. Tell you what, if he does, he'll be right on it, but doesn't in the end. Campbell and Alp are side by side coming out of the pit lane, and Alp's ahead. Alp is ahead, but the mediums are going to be more warmed up to temperature. In fact, actually, the Ferraris have worked that out pretty well. They have worked that out. It's an absolute T. I was criticising that strategy call and wasting away that EOS, but look, Alp's got 3 times the more EOS than Campbell. It's still flawed. It's still flawed what they've done. They might be on the quicker tyre. That's what they're banking on. They are banking on being on the quicker tyre. Mediums around this track, once they get into race trim, probably not the quickest. They probably are the quickest tyre to be on, but not the quickest tyre in terms of race trim. And that will be found out a little bit later on, especially if there's a safety car and people go for set of softs. Campbell's managed to stay within a second, though, of Alp as Nathan is in the pit. So Nathan in the pit lane. I wonder if there's going to be a pull-off here from the McLaren, from the Ferraris. Alp coming out the final corner. Gary's picked up a 5-second penalty for spinning in the pit lane. I think Nathan's going to be ahead here. He's going to be well ahead here. Or is he? Coming on the pit lane exit. Nathan's ahead. Surely. Nathan is ahead. Or is he? There's Alp. Nathan is ahead of Alp. Fantastic call by the Ferraris. Alp now in a bit of trouble. For the first time in probably his League of Europe career, he is in trouble. Ferraris in the end, I was criticising their strategy to the cats come home. And in the end, they have pulled that off absolutely perfectly. But in terms of the EOS, they are, as I say, they are banking on being on the fresher tyres as Gary and Yildirim are side by side up the banking in towards turn number 7 and Tarzan and Yildirim absolutely martyrs Gary to the outside line coming through turn number 7 at Skyflex, at turn number 7 gets the job done. Beautiful move. Campbell attacking up as well. This race has suddenly sprung into life, but my word, Yildirim, talk about pulling a move off. Ran the outside of turn number 7 at Skyflex. What a move that is from him. He's up to 10th. Gary there in 11th. That might be just one of the overtakes of the season. That was remarkable from Yildirim. in the end. Other battles happening, ruining that, I think, for overtaking the season. But my God, Yildirim has just ripped Gary a new one there. And Gary, on the first flight out of Ireland, I think, Yildirim through, and he's into 10th. Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable move by Yildirim. Fantastic stuff. And he's ahead of Verstappen coming out of the pit lane as well. His race now absolutely thriving. Nathan leads, Albon second, Campbell in third. And actually, the Ferraris have pulled this one off pretty well. I was criticising their strategy earlier on, saying they shouldn't have used up the ERS. I would have saved up the ERS. Come to show what I know. Campbell's there in 5th, on the back of Alp, currently in that P3 as it stands, but Alp's on that side of hards. And he's out of ERS as well. He's on the same amount of ERS as Campbell. Perfect from a Ferrari standpoint. Ferrari are going to retake the championship lead in the Constructors. Pretty much given a bye, I think, towards the end of the season. Cucumber, though, leading the way from Miron in 2nd. Nathan there in 3rd. And now Campbell on the back of Alp. Alp has got to try and use up a bit of ERS. He was just going to let him go. I think it's going to be the latter. Pulls towards the inside line now, turn number 1. Should be an easy move for Campbell. Alp will not make this easy on the brakes. But Campbell in the end makes it look easy. Through turn number 1. That's an Aston Martin coming right out on this. And there's Cucumber. Wow. Cucumber's out in this battle as well. He's nearly side by side with Alp. And Alp's on the banking. Alp's on the curb. And Alp and Cucumber side by side. Coming up the hill. Oh my God. Please hold on to your hats with this one. Cucumber is through. Surely on Alp. Alp's still there. Cucumber through. Alp pulls the inside line at Sky Flag. In the end, can't fight the move. Cucumber now. I did say the overcut was pretty potent around here. I'm glad guys have been listening on the side of hards. Cucumber now through on Alp. And who would have thought this? Alp now. His race start was poor. This, I think, is even worse from Alp's perspective. He had the race right in his trade book as the Red Bull ran. That's killer, I think, round coming through the right under there of turn number 9. But Alp on that side of hards, he's missed the trick. He's missed the trick. He shouldn't have started on the side of he shouldn't have started on the side of mediums. It's as simple as that. And that's now the flawed strategy for the rest of the race. All coming back to bite him. Could say it's karma. He could say it's karma potentially, but you're rolling into the pits, leads the way. Aston Martin will be out, I think, comfortably in 6th position in a bit of no man's land. But yeah, oh my word, race has just suddenly sprung into life. I did say to Mark a little bit earlier on in Discord. That is your own, by the way, coming out of the pit lane ahead of Yildirim very comfortably. In fact, your own out ahead of Yildirim. Overcut, as I say, very potent around here compared to the guys on undercut strategies. Killer's in the pit lane, might be retiring. He has been stood up once, I think, so far today. Don't think he'll want to be stood up again with his performance so far out on track in 13th position. Nathan there leading the way, Campbell in 2nd, Cucumber there in 3rd. I'm going to get a very nasty DM, I think, after saying that. But Nathan leading the way, Cucumber in 2nd, Campbell there in 2nd, Cucumber there in 3rd. Ferraris have outmastered, I've got to say, Alp in terms of their strategy. And as I say, just watch that back a little bit earlier on in terms of what I was saying, because I thought it was a bit flawed as Killer has spun now, coming out of turn number 3. He may as well retire the car and try and go for a night out or something, I think, at this stage. Try and pull the Nolan, I think. Also there leading the way, Campbell in 2nd, Cucumber there in 3rd. Wales has good places, more debatable with Northern Ireland. I've never been to any, actually, so I can't really speak. I've been to Scotland. Probably why I favour Campbell more than anyone else in this field. But yeah, I've been to Edinburgh once. Actually no, I've been to Edinburgh a couple of times. Very, very nice city. Very, very nice zoo as well. If you've ever been to Edinburgh and you haven't been to the zoo, go to the zoo. Very, very nice. And they've got pandas and penguins and all sorts. Anyways, back onto our waddling 13 drivers out on track. Russell leads the way from Campbell in 2nd. Cucumber currently in 3rd. That was a voice crack and a half. Peas on the back of Alp. Peas wants Peas of the action here on the back of Alp. In towards the left-hander now of turn number 10. In the second Danforth corner. Alp now with those hards is under pressure. He's not entirely out of this. His tyres will come back towards the end of the race. He just, to me, looks out of it, I've got to say, at this stage. But Killer retires into the pit lane. He'll try himself in a corner now somewhere. Students will not be happy if they're watching either. Peas on the back of Alp. Now coming to the final couple of corners. Peas, I'm going to say, bit of an underdog so far in this race. He's on the back of Alp. And look at the closing speed of Peas compared to Alp. In towards turn number 1. set of medium compound tires against a set of hards. Alp will defend this until his life depends on it. Pease though, beautiful move, not half an inch of room there. Absolutely brilliant from Pease. Great respect from Alp. Literally no inch given, no hung-drawn quarters given whatsoever. Pease doing his into fourth. Lovely move there. Alp in fifth. And I'll tell you what, we've only got 12 drivers. We've only got 14 as a total, I think, within this lobby. Some of the moves we've seen could put it up there with F1 Esports Challengers. I could honestly say that for an absolute given. I really could. Pease, beautiful move on the back of Alp. We saw Yulbrim around the outside of Gary at turn number 7, which was absolutely, utterly insane. And these guys do know how to drive. The driving standards have been questionable, I think, this season from a D1 standpoint. But this race might be going down as one of the best races of the season, because this is fantastic, and I am living every minute of this. Nolan's saying I got kicked out of Edinburgh Zoo for trying to feed Lewis's mum. Oh, Campbell's not going to be happy with that one. What he is going to be happy with, potentially, is on Ferrari 1-2 and the championship lead. But, will his teammate work with him? That is now the big question for Campbell in this race. He's there in second. At this moment in time, it's 18 points he's gaining. Fastest lap at this stage is with Cucumber, so we can't get fastest lap points. But Campbell, is there going to be a let-through, or is there going to be a block tactic, potentially, for the Ferraris? I'm going more latter than former. I think there's going to be a block tactic. Campbell will be let through. Nathan will defend to the inside line at turn number 1. Cucumber will try and get around the outside and then get boxed in on the exit of the corner. That is what I think is going to happen. And if it does happen that way, I don't want it to happen that way. I want it to be fair out on track between these guys. These guys are more than capable. These top 5, especially Pease and Alp, they're in 4th and 5th, who are catching these guys, are more than capable of delivering a fantastic race. We've had that so far. I don't want to be ruined. I don't want this race to be ruined by team tactics. So if the Ferraris are listening, they've got me on in the background. Don't do it. Push on. Think about your own race rather than the team game. You're going to be leading the constructor standings. Campbell's got more opportunities with Sally obviously at the race. He's outscoring Cucumber, which I think is more important. So Nathan, to be fair, could take this race win for himself. And it's not really damage limitation for Campbell, because he's got second out of this race, and it's probably not the best he could do with his teammate being ahead of him. But Campbell there in second, doing a fantastic job. Looking through the comments, by the way, some of you are absolutely cracking me up, I've got to say, at this stage. RJW saying, you've been to Scotland. I feel for you, James. Yeah, I have. I've got to say, Edinburgh, though, I haven't actually really been in the city that much, but I do want to go up there. It is an absolute lovely city. From what I've been, from what I've watched in the past from the YouTube videos and like vlogs and everything else, Edinburgh's just a lovely city. It's otherworldly, I think, compared to the north of England. No castles or anything around here, no Royal Mile, nothing. Just live in a utter crap hole of a council estate, but there we are. Russell leads, Campbell there in second, Cucumber there currently in third. Balls of Brennan saying this could be Eloise, Fernando is faster than you moment. Yeah, I totally agree. Campbell, I think he's got one lap older tyres. And I don't know, it's going to be, yeah. Jerome picks up the fastest lap and Rocco spun coming through Harry Lundike at turn 13 and 14. If I was in Campbell and Nathan's shoes right now, I'd be having a very difficult conversation in that party right now, I think, because they're first and second. Ferraris are going to be taking the Constructors' Championship no matter where they finish now. No matter where they finish, they are going to be picking up the Constructors, as long as one of them is, what, first or second. They're going to be picking up the Constructors, I think, with an absolute given. But I think, personally, and don't get me wrong on this, there's 3 more opportunities for Campbell to wrap up the championship with Cucumber on the back of him. Cucumber's probably going to be quicker, I think, at 2 of the 3 tracks. Which is, I think, Saudi Arabia and possibly Brazil. Belgium, I think, is going to be more Campbell's track. So if that works out, Cucumber will be in championship contention, but the fact that he's actually docking points to Campbell is going to give Campbell a bit of impetus. And if I was in the Ferraris, I wouldn't swap them around just for the sake of a couple of points. It's 7 points at the end of the day. And what 10 points it'll be to Cucumber being gained if Campbell moves ahead of Nathan. But at this stage in the race, where they've worked so hard to pull off the strategy, I wouldn't waste it. I wouldn't waste that opportunity. I'd actually go 1-2, let Nathan get the win, Campbell in second, and they've got to honestly think about themselves as well, because Cucumber, I'm on board with him, 43% of EOS, Campbell on 16, Russell on 14. Ferraris could be in trouble regardless. So that's what they've got to think. That's what they've got to think. Cucumber is managing this race very, very well indeed. It is a title fight, don't get me wrong, it's a title fight, but I want it done in a fair manner, and I don't want to see team tactics out there out on track. Constructors, yes, they're gaining. Don't get me wrong. Constructors, yes, they're gaining. They're going to be picking up points. They're going to be taking the championship lead as a result on that front. But for me, Campbell, 3 more opportunities this season. The 3 more opportunities he's going to try and grasp, I think, this season and take the fight to Cucumber. Because Cucumber, let's be honest, tonight he has not been on his best form. Campbell has probably done better than him, I think, in the race and certainly in qualifying. But yeah, the title fight, don't get me wrong, it's a title fight. They could do whatever the hell they want. They could knock 10 bells out of each other, and I still wouldn't give a monkey's really. As Cucumber, was looking towards the inside line there, coming up through Rob Schwarzenmacher box at turn 5 and 6 there. And Cucumber just, I thought, had the potential to go for the inside line there. Just a slight bit of EOS, maybe the slight first inkling that he's eyeing up a move potentially. That's why I'm over the Aston Martin on the back of the Ferrari at this stage. But Nathan leading the way, Campbell in second, Cucumber third. Whatever is going to happen in the final 7 laps of this race, I just hope for the fairness, I think, in the league and the integrity of this league, that it is going to be delivered in a fair and clean manner, and we don't see any box tactics, is what I'm thinking. For me, I don't like seeing that, especially if you let through a driver and then you back Cucumber up to the back of Pisa. Now, but look at Cucumber, here we go, he's on the back of Campbell, and as I say, the Ferraris are going to have to think fast on this, because Cucumber now to the inside line at turn number 1, surely on the brakes, Campbell's going to go deep, through Tarzan at turn number 1, Cucumber now side by side with Campbell in towards the banking, use a bit of EOS, he's going to be forced out on the inside curb, and in the end Campbell fights for his absolute tooth and nail to get the move, holds him up, Nathan now beginning to pull away, and now I think they've got to think fast. They've got to decide who's going to win this race. I think now, given that Campbell's under pressure, and given that Cucumber's used up 30% of his battery, I think Nathan should go for the race win. I really do. I really, really do, because Campbell's going to have his handful, regardless, with the Canadian in behind. So that was the first shot. Try to look for the move, and I think with Cucumber, his goal now is to save up EOS. His goal now would be to save up the EOS on the back of the Ferraris, try and latch them in. By the way, I think made a mistake on the back of Pisa and now dropped 1.3 seconds off the back of him. Pisa in 4th, running a bit of no man's land. All of this breaks off in front. Pisa's there to pick up the pieces and maybe even take the race win. He's only 2.5 seconds off the lead. Anything could happen. Anything could happen in this race. Really is a fantastic race. Nathan leads, Campbell in second, Cucumber in third. We've got 5 laps to go, including this one that we're on. Lap 32 out of 36, and I'm going to take a drink to get myself, to get my voice in order before the end of the race. But yeah, Nathan leading the way, Campbell in second, Cucumber in third. As I say, if everything breaks now in this front 3, Pisa's there Pisa's there to take the ball. He is there to take them all. Yes, he's on all the tyres, but he's on 2 lap younger tyres than Campbell, a lap younger than Nathan. Probably use up his tyres a little bit more without being on the back of him. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting end regardless of what camp you are in. Lovely helicopter shot as we come now through the Audi S curve at turn number 11 and 12. Been a great race this has been in Zandvoort. Maybe even going down as a race of the season candidate, I've got to be honest. This has been one of the best races I think for the whole season, and it's probably going to get better because Cucumber once again is on the throttle, coming out of the banking. Campbell's going to have to react again. I think Cucumber's going to be deep this time, maybe in towards turn number 1. He's using up all of his battery, but he's using up all that battery not to make the move. Interesting. Interesting. Let's put in the championship leader, or the the net championship leader under pressure potentially. And then there's the championship fight, and this is absolutely fascinating. I'm living this as a Formula 1 fan first, as a commentator second, I think, this race, because I'm in... I don't know where this race is going to go. It's a bit like Formula E a little bit earlier on, where there was about 190 overtakes in the race. We're not on the same scale as that here, but this is just fascinating. From a fan's perspective, if you're tuning into this for the first time and wondering what the hell is going on, just think of it this way. Cucumber and Campbell, the Selly Championship leader, being out of the race and out of the season. Campbell and Cucumber are there, second and third. Currently, 3 points separates them, out on track tonight. Cucumber gets past Campbell, that swing goes to Cucumber. So much at play here, it's so tactical, it's beyond belief. Nathan though, in towards turn number 1. He's a little bit EOS once again. Campbell, I think, is going to fend off Cucumber for now. If I was in the NSX camp, Campbell goes deep in towards turn number 1 and Cucumber got forced up on the inside curb. And that just puts Campbell on the, Cucumber there on the back foot, on the back of Campbell. Second and third. Yeah, if he came back in Belgium, that would be the biggest twist, I think, of the entire season. Maybe even the biggest plot twist, I think, in League of Europe history, if that happened. But yeah, hopefully everything is okay with Sadie. I know he's backed off a little bit late. I'm not sure. I believe it might be exams or something like that he might be focusing on, which is why he's backed off for the rest of the season. But totally understandable. Life takes precedent over everything else. But final 2 laps of the race. This is now geared up to be an absolute thriller, no matter how you look at it. If it gets tactical from this point onwards. If it favours Campbell, it favours Campbell. Regardless, though, I think this has been one of the races of the season here in League of Europe Division 1. The standings of driving has been absolutely awesome to watch. The moves have been absolutely incredible. The tactics have been incredible in this race. This race has had everything. This race has honestly had everything. It just needs a few overtakes to spawn into life, and Alp is on the back of Pease in towards turn number 1, and this might be an overtake in towards turn number 1, because look at the closing speed of Alp to the inside line. Pease, though, covers enough off. I think he'll hold on for 4. Out there on the back of in 5th, doing a fantastic job. Sally is tired of F1 games. Do you think it's worth throwing the championship away? There's so many people like that, to be honest, in this game cycle. I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised at all. Nathan leading the way, Campbell in second, and for now, I don't want to ruin myself going on to the final lap of the race. For now, it seems like what I've been saying is right. Nathan is going to go for the championship, for the race win here out on track tonight, and the championship fight is going to fight for second and third. Cucumber against Campbell. This is fascinating. This is honestly really, really good. It's one of these races where it's making me smile ear on ear, and there's still only a lap to go. If Nathan backs up now into Campbell, then it's clear that Nathan is going to let Campbell through for the points. 4.5 tenths of a second though. More EOS as well. Nathan through the final couple of corners. On to the final lap of the race. He'll hold the lead in towards turn 1. And here comes Cucumber once again. It's going to be might have to be a last lap attempt here from Cucumber's perspective. Nathan, there's more opportunities to try and back up Campbell into the back of Cucumber, try and secure that 1-2 for Ferrari. Cucumber though on the back into the banking. Tries to get the run. Coming out of turn number 4. Now towards Rob Schrotter-Macker box and Sky Flacker turn 6 and 7. Cucumber right on the back of Campbell. Nathan is going to go for this race when it seems though. So everything I've been saying, do not doubt me, I am right sometimes. This is the thing that I'm right with. It hasn't got tactical, they're fighting for themselves. This is exactly what we like to see here in League of Europe. They're thinking about themselves. Campbell and Cucumber are certainly thinking about that championship fight, but this race, regardless, has been absolutely brilliant to watch. From a fan's perspective, from an LOE perspective, this has been probably race of the season here in Division 1. This race has had everything. No, only one VSC, no safety cars, and now Nathan, unless he breaks before the start-finish line, he's going to take the race win through the final couple of corners on the run toward the line here in the Dutch Grand Prix, and Nathan takes the race win out on track. Campbell in second, Cucumber there in third, and all sorts of carnage in behind as Gary's been spun. I think with Verstappen going side by side there as well. Well, either that or Yildirim side by side with them. Albert's catching in the back of Pease as well, as you saw down the camera angle. You're on there in 6th to the line. From Yildirim in 7th, Verstappen there in 8th, Jekyll there in 9th, Slash in 10th, Gary there in 11th, Here comes the line now, and Rocco there in 12th position. I'll quickly go blue screen because I am going to invite the guys in for interviews. So apologies that we might not get to see the full grid order. So I'm just going to go blue screen for a second, and I'm going to invite the top 3 in because I am feeling decent enough, I think, for interviews. Let's get them in. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to type in their names completely. So remind me of the top 3, please, and let me know. Phenomenal race. It's only Rocco, by the way, coming to the line, so we're not really missing much. NSX Cucumber and Mr. Nathan as well. Oh. As you can hear in my voice how much I've had to go through, I think, in that race. Absolutely incredible race. We will take you, of course, to the full grid order in just a second. As soon as I get the final guys in. It is just Mr. Russell that we are missing now. Again, I have to type these guys in absolutely brilliantly, I've got to say. I can't even find Nathan's name. So, I'll add 2 of them in for now, and then get one of the others to invite them in. There we are. Podium celebrations though out on track. You've just seen that now. And it is the Ferraris to the top 7 of the podium. It is Nathan who takes the race win, from Campbell there in 2nd, Cucumber there in 3rd, and what was tactically, I think, an absolute extraordinary race. Brilliant to watch out for. Brilliant race out on track. Phenomenal, I think, in terms of the racing. And yeah, unbelievable. Really good race. That probably, as I say, not even getting ahead of myself, maybe even race of the season. That was brilliant to watch. And it is Russell who takes the win out on track, from Campbell there in 2nd, Cucumber there in 3rd, only a 2nd covering the top 3 at the end of the race. You don't normally see that around here at Zandvoort too often. He's there in 4th, without there in 5th, Jeroen there in 6th, and then Yildirim in 7th, Verstappen there in 8th, Jekyll there in 9th, Slash in 10th, Gary in 11th with a 5-second penalty, so he's been chipped to Northern Ireland, it seems. Rocco there in 12th, just in time, I think, for the 2nd series of blue lights. Rocco there in 12th, Killer and White are the 2 DNFs out on track. Rocco did finish, and he did pick up fastest lap of the race as well, so he does steal that extra point out on track. And I am quickly gonna invite, because I've just typed in the wrong name for Mr. Russell, I'm gonna get him in. Give me a second. Apologies that I'm just going blue screen. You're probably sick of me right now for going blue screen, but we'll get him in. I really hope that was the right account that I've just added to this to the thing. But yeah, great race, absolutely tip-top race, fantastic watch out for. And yeah, we are going to be doing interviews, by the way. I do feel pleasured enough to do that, and I think after a race like that we may as well do interviews. We have to do interviews. But yeah, tactically one of the best races of the season, on track with some of the battles that we had, phenomenal. And the one outlier out of all of that was Alp in 5th position. Everyone else, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th on the grid. Alp there in 5th, down to 1st. Clearly the medium competitors did not work there for the Turk American there, down in 5th. And the race start, from that point onwards, it was a bit of a struggle. He obviously got the gap, but as I said earlier on, anything can happen in Formula 1. It may as well just might as well. And I'll say no way to try anything different on this game. And yeah, overcut around here so potent, and he's found that out there out on track here tonight. As we now can speak to the man who people were thinking wasn't going to get the race win, I've got to say, in the comment section, but the man that did get the race win in the end is, of course, G. Russell 63, otherwise known as Nathan. And Nathan, in the end, picking up a P1 finish out on track. Ferrari 1-2. Could that race have gone any better?
Maybe pole, but yeah, Alp had a ridiculous pace. That was more than my PB, but yeah, no, I mean, 43 points for Ferrari, can't really complain about that. And yeah, just kind of no mistakes throughout the race, which is a change for once.
Yeah, no mistakes at all in terms of the race for once either. And obviously in terms of the tactics, and now I was slagging off the Ferrari tactics, and I was saying, why are they using up their ERS and going for that overcut strategy and using up the ERS? Because they're only going to be under pressure from Alp a little bit later on in the race. The way it worked out, though, it was an absolute phenomenal piece of masterclass, I think, from you guys in the Ferrari team, from you and Campbell. Talk us through what happened with that, because I honestly thought you were going to come out miles behind Alp.
Yeah, well, I think it was all to do with the start. Obviously, the VSC kind of really didn't do much, but obviously getting Alp at least behind for a couple laps helped kind of neglect the initial pace that the mediums would have, and then obviously, as soon as I saw that he he didn't pull over 3 seconds. I think it was like 2.6 at maximum. So it was always going to be a case of when his hards are heating up, as soon as he pulls out the pit lane, like he's gonna lose at least 3 seconds. So it was always going to be tight either way. And obviously, I think he had a battle with Rocco, or like one of the McLarens, and yeah, we were just like, we realised quickly that it was better to keep Lewis in the DRS and then just kind of push as much as possible, even just throughout the entire race in the end. I think, yeah, we just kind of were like, let's just use all our ERS like everywhere, and then just try and do something. Because even if we came up behind Alp, like, I mean, he finished, I think, like 3.5 seconds behind. So, like, I think even if he had come out ahead, we would have probably like still got him quite quickly anyway, because of the difference that the mediums had compared to the hard.
Yeah, I said in commentary as well, the overcut strategy was absolutely potent around here once you pull it off, and that's what you guys absolutely showed, I think, from that perspective as well, picking up that 1-2 out on track. Of course, Constructors potential champions, I should say, with Sally obviously going missing in action and Jensen doing F1 Esports Challenges. So does Ferrari look like they're going to be getting the Constructors now that you've taken the championship lead?
I hope so. I think the closest rivals is either Haas or it's AlphaTauri, and yeah, we'd have to there'd have to be a miracle for us to not win the constructors. But yeah, no, my focus is fully on getting my lovely Scotsman his D1 championship, which we did think about. Well, I was thinking from like, as soon as we came out ahead of Alp, I was like, right, how can I work this out and get Lewis into P1? But yeah, no, it was yeah, Cucumber just had really quick pace, and obviously with the quicker, fresher tyres at the end, it was always going to be difficult to try and swap it over. But yeah, I mean, obviously still gained 3 points. Lewis did over Cucumber, so yeah, can't complain.
Can't complain whatsoever, and yeah, Cucumber had about 30% more ERS than you guys as well, so I thought he was actually going to come and maybe steal the both of you towards the end of the race. And what was, I'm going to say, tactically, I think one of the best races I think I've seen here in Liga Group this season. Saudi Arabia though next week, of course, full focus now, I think, with Campbell on the championship mind. But Saudi Arabia, a track that you've enjoyed in the past, it is a track that produced a lot of overtaking. How do you think you'll get on around there?
I quite like it this game. I mean, if we get more than like 10 drivers, then you know that we might have a safety car, but we'll have to see on that. Yeah, I think it should be okay. I think it's gonna be just another DRS train in Carnage, because Jeddah's Jeddah. Even in real life, it's Carnage. So yeah, just see what happens in quali and then try and work something out in the race. But end of the day, just try and keep it clean. I think no damage around Jeddah will be the main goal.
Yeah, certainly so, and hopefully Ferrari can obviously excel at the race that they did, of course, tonight here in the Netherlands. Go and enjoy Eden.
Thank you so much for comments as well.
You are very welcome indeed. Not easy being me by myself, but there we are. We'll now move on to the man, of course, who finished in P2, and unfortunately for him, could have taken the championship lead if it wasn't for his teammate. The man that's now 2 points off Sally in terms of the championship is, of course, Kiwior Campbell. And Campbell, from last week finishing 10th position to finishing this week in P2, is just a complete turnaround.
Finishing 10th last week? Oh yeah, never mind, sorry. I got a penalty. I don't agree with it, but oh well, that's life, I guess. Yeah, it's nice to bounce back, I guess. I still will probably rue the points lost last week, coming into the season. Maybe, probably, oh well, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, nice way to bounce back at somewhere I didn't think I was going to be very strong at all.
Yeah, phenomenal, and as well that overcut, I think that absolutely worked out in your favour. That must have been pre-planned before going in the pit, surely.
We went to minds to go 18, 19 or go again one longer again, which I don't really know how much it would have changed. Maybe we both would have jumped up on the overcut, but I don't really know. We were going to go long, but we don't want to go too long that we would then get jumped, because I think it became quite clear that I was probably the slowest of maybe the top 3, so it put me at risk. And I had straight line speed, which was helpful, especially come the end, but yeah, I lacked a little bit in the first stint, which was strange because I felt a lot quicker in practice. Wasn't even mistakes, it was just not quite optimising the laps, I guess, which is a bit weird, but yeah, it worked out well again in the end.
Yeah, it worked out well, and obviously 2 points off Sally, who's obviously not going to be here for the rest of the season. The full focus now, I think, of the championship battle is you and Cucumber. You gaining 3 points on Cucumber could be quite entertaining and quite costly, I think, for him going forward into the final 3 races of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think now we finished the race, me and Nathan, we realised quite quickly that we didn't swap because of the risk of Cucumber getting by, but actually it would be more beneficial for Nathan to let both of us by, and it would have been a 7-point gain instead of a 3-point gain. But it's such a crazy thing to do, to even think of in the moment, so yeah, it gains the gain nonetheless, and well, it's better to be getting points in your rival than to be losing like I did last week, so hope I can keep it up.
But honestly, if you have poo with the final 3 races and they're very poo and you DNF in all 3 of the races, you're going to be coming to Nathan's house and honestly just willing. Where were those extra 5 points that you could have given me in the Netherlands? That would have cost you the championship. But regardless, of course, Saudi Arabia is next week. How do you think you're going to be getting on around there?
Well, hopefully quite well. Yeah, I won there last season, but that was a stupidly chaotic race, and there was like 7 safety cars, so it was timing your luck, which I imagine we'll get again, should we get more than 4 drivers done up, so it will be chaos. I don't think you can really put a prediction on how it's going to go until the race ends, which, yeah, it's not fun to drive when there's a title on the line, but I have to do it anyway.
No, it's a good track on this game. It is a good track on this game, and with Peas and Rocco in the lobbies, anything I think is possible around Saudi Arabia. But go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
You are very welcome indeed, and we now can speak to the man who finished in P3, and for some of that final couple of laps could have been P2. Of course, it is Mr. NSX Cucumber. First of all, congratulations on the promotion to NSX. P3 for you out on track. Could have it been more?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Quality didn't really go as planned. I wasn't able to really play the game as much this week because I had school and stuff, but I definitely think maybe I could have been more up there on quality. It didn't help being starting 4th, I think, and then P's overtaking me at the start. I don't know, the first stint on the hards, I felt like I was struggling, but maybe that was just me not using ERS, and it was hard for me to keep up. But yeah, P's had good pace, and then luckily he made that mistake, so I was able to get by him. And then yeah, went on to the mediums and just couldn't really overtake.
Yeah, and obviously with those set of mediums as well, in terms of not being able to overtake, you did manage to try and pull off a move in towards turn number 1 on the back of Campbell. Talk us through that, because that looked to me, 90% of it was absolutely on until you got to that curb at turn number 3.
Yeah, I thought I honestly had it. I had the ERS. Campbell had good straight line speed. I was kind of struggling in that aspect. But I made sure to save up the ERS. I knew they were flashing. I got alongside him, and it was good defense for him. He pushed me to the inside, and I was kind of stuck to that inside curb. And it's hard. I mean, I can't, so I'm not going to push him out wide, but it's hard to get the traction down. He kind of has the advantage there. And then going into the sweeping right, again, I got to back out at that point. I can't really go blazing in there again. I'm going to push him off. So it's tough. Zandvoort's a really tough one. You really only have one spot, which was the front straight, and I didn't get far enough ahead. Which, yeah, it just kind of compromised me the whole way through. And from there on, I was just trying to get them have a mistake or anything to get by them. But yeah, it was tough. They had good straight line speed, so couldn't really pass.
Yeah, and obviously being behind Campbell in the championship and being behind Campbell, of course, tonight, And losing those 3 points, that could be quite costly for you, as I said to Campbell there. It could be quite costly for you going forward into the final 3 races.
Yeah, every point matters. I mean, as you saw with Hamilton and Verstappen, you might not think it now, but when it comes final race, you know, crazy things happen. So yeah, it's not ideal, but we'll take a podium. You know, this isn't my strongest track. I'm not a fan of Netherlands. Definitely looking forward to, you know, Jeddah, Belgium, Brazil. Those are more my type of tracks I enjoy. So yeah, damage limitation, to be honest, for this track.
Yeah, I was saying in commentary as well that I thought at least 2 out of the 3 tracks, the final 2 out of the 3 tracks, you were going to be stronger at than Campbell. So no pressure, I think, going into the final 3 races. Of course, the first one of those is Saudi Arabia. If I'm not seeing you on pole position next week, I don't think how I'll cope, to be honest. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
It'll be tough to get pole. I mean, the 2 things that I need to execute for Jeddah is going to come quali. I need to really start in the front row. That would be very ideal. And then warnings in the race. Jeddah's super easy to get track limits. If I can execute that, I think we should have a good race. Hopefully there's no crazy safety cars or anything, but it's going to be hard. I think Alp's just a time trial qualifying demon. So, again, who knows what happens, but if I can get on the front row, I think that would be ideal, and then be just kind of have a chill race, no warnings, you know, so we'll see.
Yeah, I think as long as you qualify on the front row of the grid, I think you'll be very happy. With Alp, obviously, probably going to take another world record and probably take pole position as expected by about 0.3 per second next week. But regardless, go and enjoy your afternoon.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome indeed, and that rounds up very neatly indeed for the interviews dead on 8 o'clock, some only 10 minutes ago, until Division 2 and Division 4. It is going to be Killer and, of course, J. Cole. Killer, of course, got stood up for his date. Probably J. Cole, if I'm more imagining myself. They are going to be taking you to the Division 2 stream, of course, at 8 UK time. And then Division 4, I believe, is going to be Packer and Verstappen. I believe Packer is not going to be there, though, so I think it might be just Verstappen and maybe somebody else who was filling in to the chat there as well. So hopefully that will be a very, very good night. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. We are going to be seeing you next week, of course, under the bright night floodlights of the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia. So until then, I've been James Head. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.